Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I've grown into the person that I am. Here, let me adjust this chair a little bit here so you can see my beautiful flowers on either side of me. And I'm sitting out on the patio. It is like 85 today. It is beautiful outside. Can you hear the sounds of nature? There was just like this bird that was making a noise, and I loved it. And I know that the sun is kind of coming from this direction, so you can't really see me. And the sound is not great, but I love that. But I wanted to sit out here for a couple minutes and drink my coffee. Alex is inside making himself something for dinner. We're getting ready to go to a birthday party for one of his friends tonight. So I was like, I'm going to sit on the patio and I'm going to read a couple meditations for you guys and respond to them. And yeah, let's get started. So I haven't read any from these 3 books today, so I'm just going to grab them and kind of go with them and see where they're at. The first one is, let's see, August 3rd is today. See if the universe is speaking to me. This is something that I need to hear. Okay, are you ready? Ingenuity. Never tell people how to do things. Tell them what to do, and they will surprise you with their ingenuity. General George S. Patton. We have expectations about how things are supposed to be done, and we want others to meet those expectations. Dishes should be stacked just so. Dust first, then vacuum, or is it the other way around? I'm laughing because this is such, I know that the light is so bad out here, but I thought it would be fun to do it out here, so I should probably be doing it from this way, but then all you'd see is the windows. Anyway, it's funny because this is like like when you're in a relationship or you have roommates, you know, it's like, no, the toilet paper goes this way, no, it goes this way, or no, like Alex and I, like, he believes that you put bowls like down, and I believe that they go up, and so it's like we constantly, whoever unloads the dishwasher is how the dishes go. But isn't that something that happens in all relationships with friends and roommates and whatever? Dishes should be stacked just so. Dust first, then vacuum, or is it the other way around? No, don't take that road. You always vacuum last. That's just my rule. No, don't take that road. It's too slow. When we force our ideas onto others, though, we not only show that we don't respect them, we miss out on discovering new and interesting ways to accomplish things. If I trust others to do things their way, I may find that their way is better than mine. You know, I think what they're really talking about here is not just expectations, but I think that, or what she's talking about here, Linda Picone. I should know her by now since I read about her almost every day in her book. But what they're really talking about is having the need to control, you know, and the need to kind of let up control in certain situations and not always needing to direct traffic, so to speak. And one of the things that I have really learned in the last couple of years is that it is really nice to not have to have control in certain situations, you know, and to just kind of let go of the situation. One of the things that my best friend loves to do is she loves to put me in her car and then just drive wherever she wants to drive. And, you know, years ago, like as addicts and alcoholics, most of us have issues with control, you know, and things like that. Anyway, when we talk about powerlessness, unmanageability, you know, most of us try to control our disease at one point or another, or our addiction, or however you choose to look at it. And so us not having control is something that we fought a lot in early sobriety. And so a lot about becoming a healthier person is letting go of the need to dictate how things are going to turn out. You know, I have found in life that I enjoy the journey a lot more when I go with the flow, you know, when I'm not fighting the grain, so to speak, when I'm just flowing down like the journey of life. There was, you know, I'm going to read from Melody Beatty in a second, and there was this Melody Beatty. She used to do these visual imagery things that you could listen to, and you would just kind of meditate while you were listening to it. I love, like, is that what it's called, visual imagery? I think that's what I don't know if that's what it's called. I can't remember. I always forget what it's called. But you know when they're like, you're floating down the river. Okay, so anyway, she had this one. She had 2 that I loved. I had a tape. You could probably find them out there somewhere. But one was about that you imagine that this like golden orb is like dripping, like this golden orb liquid over you of protection, and that like nothing evil or negative can get in, and that you're just about positivity and all that kind of stuff. And I used to listen to that, and I always felt so much better after I would listen to it, you know. The other meditation that she had is, she would say, you're floating on a raft down the river, and that, you know, like, it's just like this little, not a big river, but like just this little kind of like creek, and you're going down, and you can sometimes feel the rocks underneath, and, you know, you put your hand in the water, you know, and you feel the coolness of the water, and sometimes like trees from over, you know, kind of like, I turned our air conditioning off so that wouldn't happen, but theirs just kicked on. That's what I say, the need to not control things sometimes. And it was such a peaceful meditation for me, you know, to be able to just kind of let go and just float with life. And I learned so much from that meditation, and I started practicing that, you know, and that's something I've really worked hard on through the years, is really practicing letting go and allowing other situations or other people to have control of situations in a positive way. I mean, if it's like, you know, like tonight, like I'm going to this birthday party, I don't know these people, whatever, and I just kind of go, okay, I'm going to show up and I'm going to have fun. And I've learned to do that, you know, and I've learned to just kind of be present and trust the process and trust the journey. And sometimes I enjoy things so much more, you know. The other thing is, I have really learned in the last few years not to have expectations for people, or to not have high expectations for people. And, you know, I've talked a lot about when we're looking for like a gallon-sized love from a pint-sized person. And what that means is that maybe we want all of this from somebody, right? But maybe they don't have that to offer us. And it doesn't mean that they're less of a person. It doesn't mean that they're less loving or less kind. Maybe it's that they can't meet our needs where we see them. And we become resentful because we look at a situation and we think to ourselves, well, it should have happened this way, or they should have done this, or they should have done that, right? When really what that's about is our expectations being too high. And maybe we have too high of expectations for people, or maybe we're not telling people what we want from them and giving them the opportunity to give that to us, you know? And I've learned in life to really lower my expectations, sometimes to lower my expectations to where I have no expectations for people. Then they, you know, pleasantly surprise me when something happens in a really good way. But I've had to, that doesn't mean that I give up on people. That means that you lower your expectations for how somebody is going to act. You know, you no longer have, you know, that this should have happened this way. And then it's funny how like all of these lessons that I've learned kind of like intertwine. That goes back to, you know, the Oprah idea of forgiveness, where forgiveness is looking back at something that happened and accepting the fact that it happened. Not that it was okay that it happened, but it happened. And now what are you going to do about it? And kind of forgiving that process. And forgiveness, that's what forgiveness is accepting that it happened, okay? And, you know, for me, that was just like when I heard that, it was just a profound moment in my life, you know? That I didn't have to necessarily accept that what happened was okay. I mean, and I'm talking about everything in my life for the last 47 years, things that, you know, have been tragic, things that have, you know, on and on and on. That maybe it wasn't okay what happened, but it did happen. And now what am I going to do with it? What can I learn from that today? Because there's a lesson in almost everything that happens to us, you know? And I have to remember that. And so it's, you know, that's all about expectations too, and not having super high expectations. And moving forward and saying, well, did I have too high expectations in that situation? Going forward, should I have less, you know, expectations and things like that? So it's a really good meditation. Okay, now last year I was reading a lot of this, so I'm going to try to go to this and see if there's something different in here. So I can't believe we're like almost halfway through the year, right? Or are we already? January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Oh my God, we're past the halfway mark. Okay, August 3rd, learn to be present. Oh, I already know I'm going to need to hear this one. I haven't been able to give you much materially, he said. Not jewelry, diamonds, gold, but the gift I've given you, what I have had to offer, is staying fully present for you. Presence is a gift. Staying fully present for friends, family, ourselves, our lives. Staying in the moment, with our hearts open, will change other people's lives into ours. So often we've learned, do you hear the wind in the trees back there? So often we've learned out of habit or fear to be only partially present, partially conscious for ourselves, others, and our lives. We aren't certain what we're feeling. Our attention and energy are diverted to the next place, the next person. We're there, kind of. There's another way, a better way, one where we keep our hearts open and know what we feel. We take the risk of being vulnerable enough to share who we really are and to allow others to do the same. We become fully present for each moment and each person on our path. Yes, there are times when it's safe to be open, when the energy of a circumstance isn't right for us, but that usually reveals a lesson and dictates a choice. It may be time to learn, time to leave, time to feel, time to choose. Learn to release all that stands in the way of you in the present moment. Learn to let go of all that blocks you from being fully present for yourself and others. Give the gift of presence to yourself and to the world. I love that. And, you know, I really struggle a lot in being present in my life. Not so much today as I used to. I try to, like I said, just kind of flow and, you know, be present with what's going on today. I will tell you that one of the things that really helps me is that, you know, I get so easily distracted, and, you know, whether that's other things going on inside my head or whatever, you know, like, I get very easily distracted. And I remember years ago, you know, like when I started talking to, you know, doctors and therapists about being ADHD and stuff like that, that there was a book that my mother had written, my mother had written, she didn't write it, my mother had read, and it was called Driven to Distraction. And that was really, you know, a good definition of how my mind works. One of the things that's really helped me to be present is to make a list of things that I want to accomplish that day. And listen, I put on my list, get a cup of coffee, you know, listen to an audiobook, spend some time with Alex, you know, hang out in the backyard, do my meditations, because those are things I enjoy to do. And if I have a list of things I don't want to do, all things I don't want to do, or all things that I feel like I need to do, you know, then I'm going to get really distracted by other things. And so I make a list so that when I look at that list, I'm not as easily distracted, because I'm like, these are the things I want to accomplish today. If I do, that's great. If I don't, that's fine too. But then if, like, let's say something else comes up that I feel like I need to do for the day. I can't even think of a good example. But let's say if something else comes up, like, oh, I don't know, clean the patio or something. Well, that's not on my list for today. So I don't have to allow myself to be distracted by that. You know, I can stay in the moment. I can stay present and go, no, I don't need to clean the patio today. You know, if I want to, I can, but I don't have to. And, you know, I can make my videos because that's what I want to do today, and I can read a little bit on the patio, and I can go to this birthday party with my husband and have a good time, and I can relax and enjoy life. And that's really what it's about, you know. And staying present also means that we're more present for other people and being there with them, you know. And one of the ways that I've really made a committed effort to doing that lately is when I'm sitting with somebody, having my phone down, like not being on my phone, you know. And I went to dinner with Jason, my friends Jason and Melissa, last night, and we sat on the rooftop of this restaurant that we've been wanting to sit on the rooftop of for quite some time. And I, like, at the beginning and at the end, I did like an Instagram story, and then the whole rest of the time I just kept my, you know, phone down, and we all did, and it was really nice to just not have to be, I feel like we become such a cyber world that we're like always on our phones, you know. And I love social media. I do. I enjoy it. Like, I'm not somebody that's going to say anything bad, you know, it's bad, but I enjoy it. But like sometimes I spend way too much time on it too. So, and that's another thing, like when Alex and I go on dinner dates or out to dinner, we really try to put our phones down and not be on our phones. Sometimes we even leave them in the car. So that's another way for me to stay present and be with somebody when I'm with them and actively listen to them. Like, that's important too, to actively listen. And what that means is to hear them, to participate, and to, you know, respond. So anyway, 2 great messages today in the meditation books, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.